considering the amount of clothes, it shouldn't actually fill the suitcase. So there may be some abnormalities with the suitcase.
It is taken to a secure examination room for further inspection, as the man insists he is simply here for a holiday.
Il problema alla valigia?
Non so, c'è qualcosa che mi vuoi dire? Mi vuoi dire il
No,
collega?
cosa devo dire? No, non c'è niente
Non
da...
c'è niente.
No, io non so niente. Io sono venuto qua per trovare amici, diciamo, perché hanno tanti italiani, ristoranti italiani, e sono venuto così a vedere. E poi mi occupo di trasporti in Italia anche, mi occupo. Sono, non dico un direttore, però è uno che... dirigente. C'ho anche il bigliettino da visita e tutto. Non ho mai avuto a che fare con droghe e tutto, con porcherie, potete chiamare anche in Italia, non c'è nessun problema.
Va bene.
But in the examination room, Border Force Officer Kathy spots what potentially could be a major problem for this passenger.
So if you look over this side here, it's all very smooth and the lining is very consistent. But if you look on this side here, you can see that there's possible indications that there could be glue, which means that the bag's been tampered with.
But the Italian owner insists it is brand new.
Comincia a intuire qualcosa, comincia a intuire. Ma io di queste cose non ne so niente, non ho mai avuto a che fare con sta merda, con sta porcheria.
Tu hai detto prima c'è la ricevuta della Felicia, no?
Di questa che è arrivata?
Sì.
Come l'hanno cambiata, è uguale, sembra che... boh, non lo so. Oh, magenta.
So what's in it?
So that's a receipt.
Yes.
As the man provides proof that he bought the case himself before leaving Italy, Supervising Officer Jason is updated in the examination room.
All he pretty much said was he bought the bag about 22 days ago. Yep. He has a receipt for it in his bag.
Okay.
I said, are you carrying any drugs? And he says, absolutely not. Never. I've never touched drugs in my life. Okay. The last question I gave him was, do you need to tell me something now? Okay, there's pretty much your last chance. You've got something to tell me.
Yep.
And it was this thing, no.
Okay.
I've got nothing
so
to...
He's not admitting to anything?
No.
Denies any
Denies
knowledge of
everything.
it? Okay.
Knows nothing. He's done nothing wrong. He's only here to see friends.
Okay. And the bag was bought in Italy?
22 days ago.
Okay, no
Before he
worries.
started his trip.
Despite the passenger's denials, Border Force Officer Kathy is confident there is something concealed in the lining of his case.
And if you run your finger along this side here, you can feel that there's a package or a concealment of some kind of something in this area and here as well and here. So we'll do an iron scan and we'll see what that comes up for us.
A swab is taken. While back at the bench, the passenger is showing little sign of nerves. But officers strongly suspect this is just a front and that he is attempting to smuggle narcotics in his suitcase. This test result will indicate if their suspicions are justified.
Probably not what we expected, so we'll go back and reassess the bag.
It's not a narcotic, but the passenger isn't off the hook just yet.
Positive for PETN, which is a component in glue making, which could indicate that the lining of the bag has just been re-glued.
Border Force Officer Kathy believes the test result may indicate that there is a false bottom glued into the case.
With these sort of bags, you should be able to feel your hand. There shouldn't be a cavity between the extension of the handle and the base of the bag.
The investigation is stepped up as the bag is taken to be x-rayed. And alarm bells start ringing as the image reveals unexplained organic material hidden around the sides of the suitcase.
We've just x-rayed the bag. There's some abnormalities. However, upon touch, it's not clear what that is, so we'll have to investigate further.
I would do.
Back in the examination room, the deconstruction of the suitcase begins to gain access to whatever is inside. And officers immediately locate where the drugs may be hidden.
In there.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah. It looks like there's a false bottom.
Looks like, yeah.
Where there's, that should be the base of the bag. You can clearly see I can get my fingers down underneath the lining of the bag. There's a cavity just there. You can feel a package just underneath the false bottom.
Yep. We're going
So
to
we'll have to rip the lining off the bottom of the bag and check what it is.
Removing the heavily glued false bottom of the case is not an easy task.
got to base it another bag and cut it out so it would fit in. They've stuck it down really well.
They need to identify what the packages contain.
So what have we got? Ones that look like we've got, white powder.
White powder.
All right. So it's definitely not granule, so it's definitely looking like it's white powder. So I'll put a tiny bit in there.
A narcotics indicator kit will help determine what the substance is. While at the bench, the passenger is cautioned.
Che tu fai o dice, noi lo potremo usare in la cotta.
Sì, ho capito, ma qual è il problema?
There appears to be a concealment of drug
Ok.
narcotics in his
Ok,
bag.
quella valigia che avete qua, voi l'abbiamo visto, l'abbiamo aperto, sembra che c'è qualcosa là dentro che non deve essere là dentro. Va bene, no, tu sai qualcosa di queste?
No, io non so niente, io
Va
lo
bene,
giuro
va bene,
pure sui miei
va
figli, io non so
bene.
niente io.
Questo è il problema che abbiamo noi ora. Di questa punti ora chi dice che fai le potremo usare nella cotta.
He denies everything, but the test results are clear.
I'm looking for a nice blue, so I think I might have it. But I've got to follow the sequence all the way through, so we've got to press the second ampule. And what you're looking for is the split. And then you press the third ampule. It's giving me a presumptive indication of cocaine.
It's a strong blue, indicating the purity of the narcotic. The passenger is taken to a private interview room as secondary testing is carried out on the substance. And it's another positive result for cocaine.
It's one of the fastest scans I've seen in a while.
The man continues to deny he knew narcotics were in his suitcase. It's now up to the Australian Federal Police and the courts to decide if he is telling the truth.
This parcel's from Malaysia. It says that it's phone accessories. It's declared as phone accessories. So if you see these individual little electronic products, if we zoom in even more, so you can see the blue is the little metal part where it would plug into the wall. The plastic orange outline looks like some sort of plastic casing, and it's the green chunk inside the plastic casing.
There's something just inside there.
There's a blob in there, isn't it? It looks like it's in all of them though. So it could be maybe insulation or something that's meant to be there. So we might feed it back through the X-ray from a different angle.
Yeah, no worries.
And see if we can get a clearer image. There we go.
A second X-ray may help identify the unusual substance.
Side-on's all right?
Yeah.
That may or may not be a legitimate part of the consignment. But the new image only gives officers more cause for concern.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't expect to see that in phone charges.
No.
But it's in all of them, so maybe it's meant to be there. But I think we better take
Have
it
a closer look, yeah.
unpack it. Yeah. Originally we put the parcel through just laying flat. This time we've put it back through on its side, which will change the X-ray image slightly. But the top view image, it looks like there's some inconsistency in the phone charges, but it's in all of them. So we'll just take it over to our secondary examination, take them all out and just have a closer look. So we brought this parcel over for a secondary examination. An Australia Post employee has cut the parcel open for us. It's phone charges, it's what we thought. What we found is a large amount of electronic mobile phone wall charges. There's a lot of them. Maybe it looks like it's about 200 phone charges.
On face value, the charges appear to be authentic.
Yeah, at least that makes the declaration seem a bit more genuine.
But on closer inspection, things start to unravel.
Chinese plug though.
Yeah, they do, Chinese plug.
Wouldn't
expect those plugs to be an Australian plug?
You would, wouldn't you? The cord is actually coming out of the tail. That one looks like it's not even sealed properly.
Okay, I think I need to get some tools and break some of these open.
The dodgy charges aren't difficult to dismantle.
You can see some sort of foil bag or something in there. There we go.
But what's inside will do more than just power up a phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not meant to be there.
No, most definitely not.
Let's try to get that out. We found sort of a small concealment wrapped in a black electrical tape.
Certainly a tight fit. And it's heat sealed. There we go.
We've got some carbon paper as well and aluminium foil. So we're just going to unwrap that and see what we've got. There we go. So whatever this substance is, they've gone to a fair bit of trouble to hide it. It's a fairly intricate concealment as well. There's nearly 200 phone chargers in there. So they've done their best to hide it. I think it's funny that people still think that aluminium foil distorts an X-ray image. It doesn't work. Yeah, they think they can get it through, but we have the technology to find it. So we've cut the plastic bag open that has the crystalline substance in it.
Officers suspect the crystals will test positive for methamphetamine.
Since it's quite chunky.
So they conduct a nick test to make sure.
So this test has 3 vials. So when we crack that last vial, we're looking for a fairly explosive blue colour change, and that will tell us that this substance is methamphetamine. So that's a presumptive positive test result for methamphetamine, or commonly known as ice. And so we see a lot of methamphetamine from around the world. We're seeing methamphetamine come from places we've never seen it before. So it's coming from everywhere.
Officers suspect they may be dealing with a possible drug courier.
She's been in Ivory Coast before here, and Nigeria before that. So she's staying at the budget hotel in Preston.
Her bag has been x-rayed, and the image clearly shows 2 abnormal densities in the lining of the bag.
Judging by the x-ray image, we believe that there may be a concealment there.
It will still need to be tested. And at the bench, Officer Janelle has noticed a concerning detail about the woman.
It was revealed that she is pregnant. She's approximately 32 weeks along.
A swab is now taken to be tested to see if there are any traces of narcotics.
That's meth, good rating.
She has been read her rights and has been escorted to an interview room. Officers originally took her aside due to a number of suspicious details to her travels.
She was in Nigeria for approximately 2 months before travelling to the Ivory Coast. Also, she stated that she was only here for a short time, 3 days. She had never been here before. She didn't seem to know a lot about Australia. She had no set plans while she was here. All she mentioned was that she was shopping.
Her empty bag still shows a strange mass on the X-ray.
The image shows there could possibly be a concealment within the sides of the bags, so we'll examine that further.
It will now be drilled to see exactly what is concealed inside.
Her demeanour is quite calm. She doesn't seem to be too much concerned. She's just stayed the same level the entire way through.
The bag has now been drilled and a powder has been extracted.
A white crystal substance has actually come out of the side of the baggage.
This is taken to be tested with a machine that fires a laser through the substance. These devices usually produce an extremely accurate reading.
Methamphetamine, 92%.
The result and the purity will be confirmed in a lab. But for now, the 23-year-old woman is handed over to the Australian Federal Police.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit more about this one? Where's it from?
This is air freight from Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
Declared as face cleanser, so I think we need to x-ray this one.
Yeah.
The X-ray image reveals 8 individual containers inside the box.
The image seems fairly consistent with bottles, but the densities vary quite a lot, which is quite unusual.
That's unusual that it's lighter there and then quite dense in the middle there. So
I think we need to do some further testing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Let's open her up.
Once opened, officers immediately notice something unusual about the contents.
So we've got a receipt.
It's $1,824.
H2O. So really they're paying
water.
$1,800 for water, which seems very suspicious.
An inspection of the bottles does little to allay their suspicions.
Oh, that doesn't look right already.
That looks inconsistent straight away. There even appears to be some crystallisation occurring in this bottle.
Yeah, this one here, water wouldn't have crystals like that in there.
Very suspicious, very unusual.
Suspecting the crystals may be narcotics suspended in the liquid, a Border Force detector dog unit is called in.
Find it.
The dog immediately sits.
Good boy.
With suspicion that the liquid is likely to contain illegal substances, it is taken to be tested with presumptive detection technology, which will help identify what kind of narcotic they are dealing with.
And there we go.
That's what we
Amphetamine.
want.
Exactly.
So we suspect that this water actually contains amphetamines. However, it is just presumptive testing, and we can't be certain until forensic testing has been done.
A second narcotic test will be carried out to confirm that amphetamines are present in the water.
So with this test, we expect it to turn blue. Pop her in.
Oh, that's great. Dark blue colour. That's definitely meth in there. Good result.
Australian Border Force officers in Melbourne have pulled aside this American graphic designer after his vague answers to their questions at the primary line raised some concern.
He originally stated to the officer he was here for a holiday, but he also might do some business. Like, he wasn't 100% sure of what he was going to do, which obviously why the officers decided to thoroughly check everything.
He has 2 large suitcases, which seems excessive for his intended 5-day stay, and officers begin a full baggage search.
So you don't have anything else on you that we need to worry about?
As a precaution, a swab is taken from some of his belongings to check for any traces of narcotics. And as the test is carried out, back at the bench, the man makes a surprising admission.
The passenger has told us that, yeah, he does occasionally use cocaine and maybe at parties and things like that, and he does smoke marijuana, which seems to be a fairly frequent user.
The seed of doubt about this passenger continues to grow.
I don't know what else to say,
And as the swab test returns a positive result, officers are increasingly convinced this man has something to hide.
So THC and cocaine, which obviously it raises our suspicion, but he'd already sort of previously explained to us what readings we may get. Again, we don't necessarily take everyone's word that's sort of presented to us.
The man is travelling with a large amount of luggage for his 5-day beach holiday. The contents are checked and appear legitimate. But when the case is taken to be x-rayed, the investigation suddenly takes a dramatic turn.
There's a little bit of density there. They shouldn't really have these dark areas of organic matter under it, really. It's pretty simple as that.
Suspecting there may be a concealment of narcotics, Officer Daniel inspects the lining of the case, but he finds no obvious signs of tampering.
All the original screws are in place. There look no damage to the bag whatsoever. I don't know if there's a board under it.
The passenger is giving nothing away, and officers have no choice but to drill into the base. And if they find any illicit substances, he won't be spending any time on the bench. A white powder is extracted.
Yeah, all right. Well, it shouldn't be in a bag. You shouldn't get white powder out of it. So because it's a white powder, mate, in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do whatever you gotta
I've got to test it, right?
Sure.
But just because there's a white powder under the lining of the suitcase, I'm just going to give her your caution and rights.
I mean, I'm not.
That's fine. So just listen to the officer.
You don't have to do or say anything. Anything you do or say may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
The substance is taken for testing as Officer Melissa questions the man about the suitcase.
So apart from where you brought it from, is there anything else you can tell us about it?
I bought the luggage downtown LA.
Yeah.
I talked about my trip. He says he's got a special deal. I took it. It was $100 for both.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of what's happening right now.
Okay.
I'm at loss of words right now.
In the examination room, first defender laser technology will be used to try and identify if the white powder is a narcotic. The passenger is becoming increasingly anxious.
Just sit. Sit and breathe. Have a drink. Just breathe.
All right, we're just going to test that powder in the bag.
Do what you must.
All right.
This is all new news to me, man.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
His health will be closely monitored. While in the testing room, the results are in, and there's no good news.
I've tested the white substance. It's presumptively told me it's positive for cocaine. Okay, so now we've got some procedures and things that we need to go through.
Sure, anything.
All right.
Anything.
Okay, so it will be a couple of minutes.
As he continues to deny any knowledge of the concealment, attention turns to the man's second suitcase. If the X-ray image is the same, it's possible there's another concealment.
The other suitcase is very similar.
They are now confident that both cases contain cocaine, and he is escorted to a private interview room while the substance undergoes further testing.
He was not aware, or he doesn't know what's in there. He's not sure how it got there. He seems a little bit more in shock. That can happen because, obviously, whether you know it or not, obviously the situation becomes quite real and they understand the significance of it.
While he anxiously waits to learn his fate, officers in the tool room test the white powder using a narcotics indicator kit.
We've just concluded our testing using the NIC test process. Both our samples came back with a positive. Essentially, we were looking for a blue with a slight shade of pink through. 100%, fairly definitive.
It's a strong blue, indicating the purity of the cocaine, and the case will now be handed over to the Australian Federal Police.
We've handed the matter over to the AFP. There seems to be a pretty significant quantity within the bags. We've x-rayed them empty. We're probably guessing nearly 6 kilos between both the bags. So a pretty significant sum of cocaine.
The man insists he had no idea the cocaine was in his suitcases, but it's now up to the Australian Federal Police and ultimately the courts to decide if he is telling the truth. Today, at the Sydney Container Examination Facility, officers are examining an X-ray of a shipping container from Canada. It's carrying an impressive speedboat, but this is not what has caught their attention.
We've found two areas of concern within this boat. Basically, down in the hull here, you've got a section down the bottom here, which is showing few inconsistencies. May well be ballast, but could be something else. There's another area here, which probably is a little bit more alarming because it appears to be stacked on top of each other.
It may just be a normal part of the boat.
They're consistently sized too, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Or it could be a very clever concealment. Officers need to take a closer look at the vessel.
From the X-ray image that we saw up the top there are two specific areas that we want to have a look at, which is basically where I'm standing here and down in the front there of the hull. So what I'll do initially is look for possible methods of concealment from the top here, see if they've got under the carpet and there's a trapdoor or something that we can get in and actually have a look at what's there. And if not, we'll use other resources we have to determine what we've got here.
Boats have many compartments, so there are lots of places to hide things. But with the help of the X-ray, Officer Mark knows exactly where to focus his search.
Well, I haven't found anything at this stage, except that I don't believe that they've actually done anything to the base of the floor here. If there is something underneath, I don't think they've gone in this way. What I have done is taken the side rests off here, which has revealed the plug holes here. Good place to swab just to see if there are any trace elements there. Okay, we've got a fairly good reading for methamphetamines there, which is a positive, and we can take the examination further.
The Australian Federal Police are now called to assist officers in a careful deconstruction of the boat as the search for any concealments intensifies.
It could take any number of hours. They've got to be as careful as they can to preserve evidence.
There is no other option but to cut the hull of the boat, where the X-rays suggest several package-sized objects are stacked on top of each other.
The AFP have been going for a couple of hours now, and already they've pulled out these 27 packages, mainly out of the front part of the boat. They've also got packages located in the rear of the vessel as well, and I'd imagine once they've removed all them, we'll have a significant amount of the narcotic.
The value of the boat alone shows the scale of criminality that officers are dealing with. And that price tag keeps on going up as more bags of crystal meth or ice are still to come.
Oh, this is a very good seizure. This is one of the more harmful drugs that's populating Australia at the moment. Its use is on the increase.
It is one of Australia's biggest seizures, with 46 bags of pure methamphetamines being extracted from the boat. Well-dressed women travelling with a young child have just arrived from Vietnam. They are an unlikely pair to attract the interest of customs, but officers know better than to judge by appearances. And now, what started as a routine search is becoming much more.
We've got these two bags here that we've just emptied out. We're not sure if perhaps there might be a concealment around the outside of the bags. It doesn't feel any different to me, but yeah, it's just like that. Oh, we'd prefer to keep it intact if we can. Just go. There's a zip, there's no actual... Can you see that?
Examining bags can be tricky. Officers are acting on a hunch that something is there, but they have to work carefully to preserve potential evidence.
There's no actual...
The only thing to do is cut it.
Yeah.
If you want to take it in the tool room or something, I don't know. Just... Well, you could even do it. Anybody got a knife? We'll just make a small incision behind the...
We're going to run the dog first.
Customs drug detector dogs have a nose hundreds of times more sensitive than humans. And if there are drugs in these bags, the dogs will react.
There's definitely something in there. We need to find out what it is. We're going to let Marty run the dogs on it, and then if he gets any sort of reaction, then we'll crack it open.
And now a drug detector dog scratching at the bag means a positive reaction.
I spoke to the guys from the dog unit and they were very happy with the dog's reaction, particularly to the green bag. So what we're going to do, take the bag into our tool room and we'll somehow either try and open the lining or make an incision and see if we can find something concealed. I believe they don't speak too much English, so their reaction may just be that they don't really understand what's going on as opposed to being nonchalant about it.
Customs uses many tools as indicators for narcotics or dangerous materials. Now the officers want to use the itemiser. The itemiser is negative, but Jeff is still suspicious.
Initially I wasn't so sure, but with the X-ray image combined with the dog reaction, it looks pretty good so far, so all that's left is just to be sure about it. It remains to be seen if there's something concealed.
The officers have decided to continue the search.
So this lady's finished, ready to go, but they're her 2 bags. Where are her goods in the boxes?
She got a bag off a friend, she said.
So the bag doesn't belong to her?
Yeah, but the bag's hers. But she said, we got Eric to translate and said, where did you get the bag? She said a friend gave it to her.
In Vietnam?
In Vietnam.
I'm just going to take another swab with the itemiser. Hopefully see if we can get some sort of reading or not.
Oh well, that's interesting. No alarm on that one, no.
There's indications from the X-ray that there may be something concealed in the bag. Some of the detected dogs did show interest.
So it's back to the X-ray.
If you have a look there though, it looks to me, you could almost say that there's a packet and then a packet like that.
So I bet my left arm that there is narcotics in that bag. They've taken the support out and stuffed something in there. It looks like what they've done is just taken the whole lining out of the edge of the bag there and just stuffed it full of whatever they've wanted to put in there, which is some sort of powder by the look of the way it's come up on the X-ray there. Yeah, definitely there and definitely not supposed to be there.
Right, what we're doing now is just taking the passengers into a private room. What we'll do is most likely frisk search the passengers and we'll try and examine these pieces of baggage.
Really, really calm, really, not anxious at all. Very silent, like not saying anything, not spilling the guts or anything, but she's just sitting back and, the kid's quiet. You've got to feel sorry for the kid, don't you?
Looking at the X-ray, we're not very happy with the bag and we're going to take it into the room and we'll make a small incision and we'll just have a closer look.
And officers seem to have found something in one of the bags.
Yeah, they've unwrapped a foil type of, like something wrapped in foil.
What we did was made an incision in that packet in order to swab and do a nick test. When I put the gimlet inside the packet, there was a strong smell of coffee, and what we came out with what appeared to be coffee.
The discovery of coffee could indicate an attempt to conceal narcotics, but the odour of coffee won't fool customs.
But the coffee could be sitting on top of something else.
Or maybe officers have got it wrong and the ladies are innocent tourists.
These 2 lots of plastic, powder on the inside, coffee on the outside. There is white powder. We've popped it in the general nick test kit and it's come up the yellow colour as printed on the front.
Positive?
White powder
yes.
underneath.
Okay. Get an iron track of the powder.
Yep.
They've just found the 2. You know how you
All right.
you're going to test
The other lady's got a condom in her bag, so...
Armed with this evidence, officers think the ladies may also have drugs in their bodies as well as their bags, and so they now want to send them to a hospital for an internal scan.
And because she's travelling with the other lady, we can't discount the fact that she may be internal. Send both, yeah. If one's going to load up, Ellen probably will too. Cover all bases, yeah.
Have you tested the white stuff?
They've done the general narco test kit and it's positive.
Oh, excellent.
Customs officers have been taken to the brink, but after a number of hours, they finally have the evidence they need. The bags were loaded.
The tests have come back positive for heroin in the bag. Our concerns are also that they may be concealing internally. What we're doing now is calling the federal police to get them to come down, particularly with the lady that's got the heroin in the bag. They'll take her away and they'll have a chat to the other lady and make a determination whether they'll take her to hospital as well. Yeah, Marcus Burney from Customs, how you going? Got a couple of passengers down here for you, mate. One of them has just come back positive. She's got heroin in her bag. And another one we've got here, or we want to detain them both for internal searches as well. We've had them here for a couple of hours. It's taken a couple of hours to get into a bag and actually confirm that it's narcotics, but we've just confirmed it now that it's heroin. Looking at the X-ray, it'd be a major concealment. You know, it'd be possibly a kilo or something there. There's 2 bags loaded too, so yeah, it is a fairly significant seizure. Yeah.
Well, the woman stated to us that she was given the bag in Vietnam by a friend of hers, given the empty bag, and she put her own belongings inside. She claims that she didn't know that there was anything concealed inside.
The federal police, I'd imagine, will arrest the lady with the heroin in her bags. She'll also be taken for internal search, and depending on the outcome of the internal search of the other passenger, will determine what the federal police do with her.
There was no evidence against one of the women or the child. When the suitcase was deconstructed, officers discovered that Lan Mai had concealed heroin in the lining. A layer of coffee was placed on top in an unsuccessful attempt to try and hide the odour of the drugs. Incredibly, an ultrasound also revealed condoms of heroin were inserted in her vaginal and anal passages. She was convicted of importing a total of 1.2 kilos of heroin worth $750,000. Border Force officers have pulled aside this passenger who is returning from Vietnam after they noticed some unusual behaviour.
Just the way he acted around the baggage carousel sort of alerted my suspicions, and this is why we've selected him for a baggage search.
Nothing of concern is found in the man's suitcase, so officers' attention turns to the blue plastic bag he's carrying.
The second bag is full of foodstuff, and it's all commercially sealed and packaged.
Swabs are taken from the food packets to check for any traces of illicit substances, and this testing brings about a sudden change in the man's demeanour.
He's now not as talkative as he was, and he's saying that he's a little bit sick, that he's not feeling well.
Officers assist the passenger after he explains that there is medication in his bag which he needs to take.
We're going to go and get you something to eat. But you have to have something to eat today to take this one. But this one has to be taken with food. Can we get you something to eat? Both of his name? They are both of his name. Yeah, let him have it. It's up to you. We warned him. Okay, yes, please. All right, we're going to give it to you. One this and one this.
The swab samples are now run through the ion scanner, and the result is something that could see him deteriorate even further.
We did an ion scan, and the result is positive for ephedrine.
Officers must now step up the investigation and open the packets.
But what is actually inside after opening it up and looking inside is a white powder, so this then needs to be tested further.
The suspicious powder will now undergo secondary testing while the man is thoroughly questioned.
Okay, so we're going to take you into the room over there and we'll get you an interpreter so that you can speak to the interpreter.
Officers now read the man his rights.
So you don't have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
While the man anxiously waits for the official test results, it appears he already knows it's not going to be a good result. Secondary testing of a white powder found concealed in food packets belonging to this passenger has confirmed officers' concerns.
That has also resulted positive for ephedrine, which can be used in the manufacturing of ice.
As the evidence mounts against the man who appears to have been caught with a restricted substance, his state of health continues to decline.
He's now saying that he's feeling sick. I do believe he may be a bit ill and dizzy, but I also believe that he's probably putting on a bit of a show. No, don't sit on the floor, sit on the chair.
I scared to fall down. She did.
I'll sit on the floor.
It took me too long.
Okay.
His behaviour is making it impossible to continue the interview.
He's saying he's still feeling sick, so at this point we've had to call for an ambulance.
Hello? Interpreter, can you confirm that if we brought any food in, he would refuse to eat it?
We've had the paramedics check him, they've given him the okay. so we can proceed with our investigations.
With his clean bill of health confirmed, he's left with no choice but to face the serious consequences of bringing an illicit substance into Australia.
We have found 7.99 kilos of ephedrine, and so now we'll be handing it over to our investigations branch to proceed with the prosecution.
The gentleman's arrived today from Vietnam. I've asked him if he's been in trouble at all with any law enforcement, and he said no. A whole lot of paperwork here. I'm just going to go and have a quick read. A lot of this is money. He's been sending money to somebody. So.
Engagement at the wedding marriage. Now they broke up.
Oh, divorce papers.
Yeah.
Divorce.
Yeah.
So you have been married before. Why do you have divorce papers?
This girl no good.
I asked you before if you've been married in the past.
Married for money. I help my friend.
Yeah, but I asked you in the past before, have you been married?
For 5 years ago.
Yeah, I've just noticed he's got a receipt in here that he's actually borrowed money to go on the trip. So he's been twice. He's actually been 3 times about the last 9 months. He's actually borrowed money to go on this trip. So I'm going to go and ask him why he's borrowed money and how he's going to pay it back. Okay. How did you pay for your trip to Vietnam?
I borrowed my brother money.
You borrowed money?
Yeah.
Who from?
My brother.
Where's your brother work?
Work with me.
Okay. When you planned your trip, when you borrowed money off your brother, how long were you planning your trip? 2 months before, 3 months, a week?
No, I go work with her, with him. He pay for me. I say how much I owe you. He say 2,000.
Before you went in May,
In May.
you went away.
Yeah.
When did you decide to go?
Whole day see her.
You're shaking your legs at the moment. Is that any reason you're a little bit nervous, or? I don't pull your trousers up. I said you're shaking your legs. Are you getting nervous, or? No. How much money do you earn a week?
1,000.
$1,000 a week? Because you owe your brother, or you owe somebody, $1,100, $1,200.
Yeah.
You owe somebody $2,000.
No, borrow my brother 2,000.
Now you borrowed another $2,000 off your brother.
Yeah.
So you owe him $3,000.
4,000.
You owe him $4,000 now. Okay. You won't pay that off in a week.
5 months.
5 months he's given you to pay it off, has he? Yeah. Okay. Right.
Customs officers are suspicious the man may be up to something.
Did you swallow some drugs to bring over here today to pay these debts off? You're carrying drugs on your body?
You want to check?
We will. He's getting a little bit nervous now. His legs started to shake over there, I noticed that. And since I've actually walked away, his legs aren't shaking at the moment. So maybe I don't know if I'm making him nervous, but something is. So we'll go and have another chat to him.
I think Trudy was calling you. I tried to call her back.
Oh, okay. I'll go on.
They're all fine?
They're all fine.
Quarantine's...
You're getting a little bit nervous. Now your hands are going like that. Are you nervous? You sure you don't have any drugs on your body?
No.
This phone number here, who's this lady?
Oh, my sister.
She's your sister?
Yeah.
Do you have another sister?
Yeah, the young one.
The young one. Okay. What do they do for work?
I don't know. Long time we don't see her. She get married already.
Where does she live now?
I don't know. Sometimes she call me, sometimes I
You
call
do
her.
not know where your sister lives. Does she live in Australia or does she live in Vietnam? She lives in Australia. Okay. What we might do, I'm going to detain you for the purpose of a frisk search, okay? You want to do it here, do you? Okay. His stories are inconsistent at the moment. Limited clothing. He's borrowed money. He originally told me 1,000, then 2,000, then 3,000. Now he's borrowed 4,000. So he's inconsistent with how much he's even borrowed. It's probably a lot more than that. We'll go in a room after this, though.
The frisk found nothing, but that doesn't discount an internal concealment.
Was his stomach hard, was it?
Sorry? Yeah, a little bit bloated, sort of protruding, but nothing found in the body. But He was really willing to take his shoes off and all that sort of thing, so it suggests he probably wasn't having them on his body at all. So.
Okay. Customs will step up their investigation and move the man to a customs interview room and conduct a full search.
That room over there, and I'll be in there in a minute. Okay, what I'm going to give now, I'm going to give another card to read, which we want to upgrade the original search to removal of his clothes. We think he may have something under his armpits or in his groin area, so we'll get a better look there. He doesn't have to do that. If he doesn't do that, we've then got to go to a magistrate and give him why we want to do it, and then we go from there.
I want to make sure you have nothing in your armpits, under your armpits, or in your underwear. So I'm going to give you another card to read in Vietnamese language again. What it involves is the removal of your clothes. Do you consent to do it?
Yep.
Okay, what we'll do, I'll leave the room. These two officers here will do it. Okay. How do we go? All right? Everything fine?
A passenger has arrived at Sydney Airport. Officers are concerned that he may be carrying into the country.
How much more money do you owe?
4,000.
4,000, that's to your brother.
While the body search has found nothing, Officer Mark wants to take the investigation further.
Did he give you some spending money?
Yeah.
How much spending money did he give you?
Oh.
Your brother?
He sent to me up there.
He sent to you in Vietnam?
Yeah.
How much did he send?
I don't know that.
You don't know how much he sent you?
1,500.
How much money do you have?
We'll get mail passed.
You only got $100 left?
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you do with all the money? What did
Party.
you party?
Yeah.
Because I know you didn't spend it at a hotel, because you told me you stayed at your auntie-in-law's place.
Engagement party.
Engagement party. Yeah. Your brother and sisters go to the engagement party?
No.
No? Your mother?
Yeah, no.
So nobody went to the engagement party?
Things just don't seem to be adding up, so Officer Mark has now decided to involve the Australian Federal Police to determine if this passenger should be taken to hospital for an internal exam.
I just rang the AFP just to tell him that we've got the gentleman here in the interview room. We do a statement of facts why we think he should be sent for an internal. It doesn't mean he's going to go. I've put down all the intel that I've had on him and what we found today. We pass it to them. At the end of the day, it's their decision. If he doesn't go, he doesn't go.
Okay, I've just rang the Federal Police. They're going to come down and have a chat to you, okay, about your trip to Vietnam. I'd like to send you to hospital, make sure you have no inside your stomach.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you swallow? Any reason you're starting to tap?
This one, drum. I learned to play the drum.
You learn to play the drums. Okay. What I want you to do is read both sides of this card. Read it careful, because what you sign here may send you to hospital. Did you want to sign or not?
No.
You don't want to go?
Yes, I go.
You go. You don't have to, but you want to.
Yeah, I go.
We've had a gentleman arrive today from Japan, from Narita. He's transited from Vancouver in Canada. The gentleman's been selected for 100% baggage examination.
It is not only the passenger's constant wardrobe changes that has customs questioning. Officers are beginning to think that there's a bit more to this passenger, and their interest is shifting to what he's carrying.
Use those to wedge these.
There's different consistencies throughout all three tins.
And the little tins are all right?
There's something inside the tins, but I don't think it's anything of our interest, but these ones are.
Okay, the passenger's being searched and they found 4 large tins of fruit and beans, and they're raising some sort of concerns.
Items concealed in the darkest places will show up on an X-ray.
There's a couple of packages in there. There's one big one there, either side.
You see that in all 3 tins?
There's definitely something in, all 3 tins, but not all the same.
The X-ray has found a number of inconsistencies in the tins of food.
Yeah, we'll take all 3 back in your room.
Yeah.
Open one up, have a look at all the different packages inside it.
No worries.
While the passenger changes his clothes yet again, Michael wants to open the tins and find out what's going on.
The story is his brother's in Korea and his brother can't get this type in Korea. His brother's flying here tomorrow to meet him and he's brought these from Canada to give to his brother.
And if the cans do contain only food, then why is this passenger acting so nervously?
The fact that he's so nervous while he's talking to us just makes you want to look further.
I'm going to call the drug detector dog unit to come down. I want the dogs to run the tins before we continue any interview with the gentleman today, just to confirm in my mind that the substance inside the tin is going to get a positive reaction for a narcotic from the dogs.
Good boy. And the dogs have reacted to the can's contents.
Good dog. That's a very good concealment. It's all commercially packaged. All the weights, everything's on it.
Officers now have to determine exactly what the substance is.
Okay, what we're going to do is we've got to hit that number 1. All the gear will light up blue. Okay. Once we go to number 2, it should start changing to pink. It's changing up top. And the last one we'll hit will confirm that all the gear rises and it will start sinking in blue. That's 100% cocaine. So
that's the best test.
That's the best test I've seen for a long time, yeah.
The evidence is now mounting against the passenger. The X-ray, the dogs, the narco pouch have all confirmed that at least one of the cans contains a sizable amount of cocaine.
So what we're trying to do is inform him of his rights, that he doesn't have to say or do anything, take him to an interview room, get an interpreter so that we can fully then inform him of his rights before the federal police come down to chat to him. But before that, he just needs to use the bathroom, so we're going to take him to a controlled toilet in case he may have had something internally as well. He's trying to pass it.
Customs checked for drugs by sifting through the toilet contents. Although this time they found nothing, they may have to keep an eye on the passenger and his movements until they are 100% happy.
We've started audio and video recording of what's happened. Asked him a few questions about if he declared the goods today, if he was aware that he carried those goods with him and what was inside the tins. He said he doesn't know what's inside the tins, but he said he did carry the goods into Australia today. It's strange because he's got a can opener in his bag for the tins. If you were just a courier bringing drugs in, you'd take them straight to some person, they'd grab it and go. So he may be involved a bit more than just a normal courier. He may have helped organise it.
Large cans in this passenger's bag contain cocaine, cleverly concealed inside the tins of fruit and vegetables. Now the passenger's time with customs is almost over, and it isn't looking good for him.
The federal agents are questioning him. He's quite upset, as you can imagine, the situation that he's in, and he's really upset that his mum and dad are going to find out.
The passenger was convicted of importing 6 kilos of cocaine with a street value of nearly $1.2 million.